Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, as you guys can probably go and tell by the title, we're going to be talking about news that probably not a single person is not surprised about, because everyone probably would be expecting this news. And if you guys can't go and tell exactly what this video is going to be about by just off that line alone, we're going to be talking about all the best-selling games throughout this past about month or so when it comes to this, because we've actually kind of seen some intriguing stuff as well, besides the fact that Ratchet & Clank was the #1 seller this week. I mean, obviously, what else are you guys going to expect? One of the most hyped up games the past few months, and maybe honestly this year, depending on what all these other future E3 games and Sony games are going to be announced. So, I mean, I think most people are probably like, okay, yeah, we're kind of expecting that. I also want to talk about the PS5 bundle too as well. That's kind of floating around for that, and a few other games too mixed on in with this. Just a little bit of a late night chill and comfy video. So if you guys are all sit back, relax, and enjoy. If any of you guys are brand new, we are giving out a PlayStation 5 console, so make sure you guys are subscribed for that. As well, make sure you guys use the Linktree links down below and put on the notifications on for the channel. Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys would like to go and follow. Amazon links down below for the PS5 controllers, PS5 consoles themselves, warehouse consoles, all that stuff you guys want to go check and see. And of course, the Weeble. Sign up for Weeble. Deposit $100. You guys go get like $25 for free because instantly sell that stuff in Coinbase. If you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency, you guys go and get free Bitcoin. Those are always linked down below. Let's go dive in the video itself. So you guys can probably go pick out what I was kind of going and saying like 2 seconds ago. It has now been confirmed that Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is the basically latest PS5 exclusive to become the #1 best-selling game going on so far. So let's go talk about it. We actually have an article over here kind of discussing all the other games. We actually have the overall chart too as well. I always like seeing this type of stuff. I like seeing how game sales do. I always love the financials on this stuff. If you guys like this type of stuff too, you guys could always leave a comment down below. But let's go dive into it. So this is over from thegamesindustry.biz, which basically is, like I said, surprising no one. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is the latest PS5 exclusive to claim #1 in the UK box charts. It's the second Insomniac developed game to claim the top spot this year. I'm sure you guys can probably go guess the other one, because that also, once again, based on the whole theme of this video, is not that surprising with good old Miles Morales going on. So basically, the PS5 exclusive Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart was comfortably #1 in the UK box charts. The action platformer has sold in line with similar exclusive releases this year, including Nintendo Switch games, new Pokemon Snap, Monster Hunter Rise, and all that good stuff. The game sold 3 times, this is kind of something I want to talk about here, 3 times more at launch than the last PS5 exclusive Returnal, although that was more of a specialist title, which is actually insane. So quick little side note on that. When it comes to the PlayStation 5, selling, like, basically, I think the Returnal is pretty hyped up. There was a lot of press on it. We saw a lot of state of games on that stuff. We saw like official commentary on it. I myself mentioned the game a bajillion times and also streamed it a lot on Twitch. It also was a like pretty much a top 5 game on Twitch, which is usually really good because that means there's like tens of thousands of viewers. A lot of really big streamers are playing it pretty consistently, and overall was recepted and reviewed very well. So the fact that as of now on the same launch, like basically weekend, Ratchet & Clank has 3x the amount of times sold than Returnal has been very, very impressive. So I'll give them some credit for that. Of course, it makes sense. Everyone's loved Ratchet & Clank. It's a very long-term IP, and realistically, probably the very first official PlayStation 5 exclusive. We did also technically have Demon's Souls, but like I always kind of say that doesn't really count as well. Godfall is also on PC too, so I don't give them like the pass. This is like the first proper PlayStation game. So overall, very, very good. Basically, it also has been confirmed it's the second biggest PS5 box launch so far, behind Spider-Man Miles Morales, which was also developed by Insomniac, but ahead of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, I kind of always say the Spider-Man one's a little bit on the weirder end because it was also available on the PS4. So I kind of like, you know, for that one, it kind of changed up a little bit before if you're comparing it for pure PS5. It's also the second biggest launch for Ratchet & Clank, which is actually kind of surprising too as well, behind the 2016 PS4 remake of the original. That game actually sold even 30%, 29% more units in its first week than the new game, which is actually very, very surprising, all things considered. And if you guys want to leave a comment down below if you guys even expected that, I mean, I'd personally want to know myself. Because overall, it kind of seems intriguing, because I do feel like there's probably more gamers, more people be hyped up for this, more people playing games from the pandemic, more people hearing about it from like YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that. But the 2 major points that this article even states is that just the price point was like, the first game was literally half the price, so it's easier for people to go buy and get. And as well too, I'm sure there's still a lot of people out there still trying to find their PS5 consoles, because at this point I think the PS4 would have been on the market for a lot longer time and also made more consoles. So with both of those, it kind of makes sense. But the major thing is actually the revenue is way higher for Rift Apart, even though the last one sold slightly better. This one, of course, since it's priced way higher and with more sales, means it's also making a buttload more money, which is always very cool as well. And also, even in terms of revenue, as we just mentioned, it's the biggest Ratchet & Clank so far by quite a big margin with basically all of that. So it's very cool news. Like, it's doing extremely well. And then Ratchet & Clank may have also been the biggest new game this week, but there are also other box titles that arrived on shelves in the past 7 days. And number 9, which I've actually played on my Twitch stream, brand new Chivalry, very cool game, very nifty. I'm not sure if it's worth the price point myself, but for like a really fun, just mess around game with your friends or by yourself, it's actually pretty good. I'll give it a thumbs up. As well, also, apparently, this was actually, for another little side note, the PS5 actually had the best percentage of sales, which is actually very surprising. Same with the PS4. So pretty much like a large majority of the sales were more so on the PlayStation networks rather than, say, Xbox or PC, which I find that extremely surprising because I kind of more so always remember Chivalry being more of a PC game back in the day, like, 5 years ago or whatever. So very intrigued on that. And another PS5 release this date also was for the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which is a DLC. I'll probably be streaming that up on Twitch maybe this upcoming weekend. And funny enough, that actually only was able to go hit number 12 in the chart, but as kind of how this kind of goes for also Ratchet & Clank as well, this data only counts for physical sales, and that just means, like an actual, maybe in-store from Walmart, from Amazon, from Best Buy, or whatever, in the actual case. Now, as well, when it comes to digital stuff that'll arrive later on this week, it'll probably be very similar. You can pretty much go and tell it's gonna be roughly around the same, give or take a few thousand or so. But also, my also bought for the Ratchet & Clank was on digital, so I'm also including the digital sales. And also, we had a kind of a fun game that I want to go check out myself, which is Guilty Gear, which is more of like a fighting game too as well. And lastly, before we go to talk about all this stuff, we also had Biomutant that was actually doing really, really good on their launch cycle, even though the game had really weird reception. I personally was not the biggest fan of it myself. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And actually somehow is still in the top 40, but it actually went down from number 16 to number 40, while the game actually debuted at number 2. And also a few of these other games too as well have also been kind of doing all right too, such as Sniper Ghost Warrior. So kind of cool stuff to go and see. We also do have a lot more other games coming on out soon throughout the next like 4 months or so. So at least we have a chance to go and see that. And also even later on throughout this like next 2 weeks, we also have a brand new Mario title with the Mario Tennis. So also we can kind of go and see how good that does, because I'm sure you guys know in this industry, Mario games are fanatical. And we also do have the Nintendo E3 tomorrow, so maybe we'll even see even more news as well. Or maybe that Switch Pro. I want that Switch Pro so bad, boys. I want it so bad. So if you guys can kind of go and see, of course, obviously, no duh, Ratchet & Clank was the #1 new entry this week. And funny enough, right behind it, FIFA. I mean, I've always been a fan of FIFA, nothing wrong with that. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is somehow still doing so well. This game, don't forget, came out on the Wii U. Not technically the Deluxe Edition, but with the Wii U. So this game has been out for years. So it's insane that, like, the Nintendo is still going and selling it. And I feel like we're never going to get a Mario Kart 9 if it keeps on selling so well. Same thing with Animal Crossing, but at least that makes sense. I know a lot of my normie friends really like Animal Crossing. And of course, Spider-Man actually went down a little bit, but basically lost this one slot from a PlayStation 5 game. I'm sure Sony doesn't mind. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is still doing very, very well. It might even have a nice little uptick too, because they did announce more DLC and more support for the game. Nintendo's always around, and it did kind of seem like Resident Evil Village is going down a little bit. It makes sense. It came out not that long ago, but people already had like launch week, probably played it, probably really watched it on YouTube and Twitch and all that. So it makes sense. It makes sense to that. But I'm sure those will probably still be at least somewhat consistent and maybe taper off as time goes off. And of course, as well, Chivalry, as we mentioned, moved up to number 9. And Miitopia is still actually holding on to pretty good. So I will go and say as of now, Sony is kind of number 1. But that, I mean, I'm sure if you had a really good Mario game, Zelda game, or even a good Xbox game like Halo, I'm sure those will probably maybe interchange the number 1 entries too as well, depending on when they kind of come on out. But you got to go give credit towards Sony. They're doing really good by kind of surprising no one, because Ratchet & Clank has been the news everywhere. I made a few videos on it. We've seen so many publications on it. And overall, the brand new PS5 bundles with it too as well, kind of making their rounds. And I do want to make that quick side note, as I mentioned, we still have only seen those PS5 Ratchet & Clank bundles on actual in Europe so far. We're still waiting to see any of that up in America, whether it's from Amazon, Target, Best Buy, GameStop, or whatever. But I'm sure that will also be bolstering up the numbers, because those would technically be counted for these in-person sales. So say you go and sold like 500,000 PS5 bundles with Ratchet & Clank, that would probably go and count up another 500,000 consoles for all of this in general. So it's very, very cool news. I do think Sony has been doing extremely well, and this always kind of just goes and proves that everyone does love the Sony exclusives. And I'm sure whenever you do see God of War or Horizon or any other brand new Sony game kind of come on out that's like a proper IP, it'll probably do the same exact thing and be a #1 bestseller, unless it's competing with like a crazy game like Breath of the Wild 2 or Pokemon, because I'm sure you guys all know those games. Those people are crazy when they go and try to get their consoles and try to get their games. So I was giving credit to the Switch people. So we'll kind of go and see tomorrow. As you guys know, we do have the E3 announcements for Nintendo. We are still kind of hopefully maybe going to see a Nintendo Switch Pro. Not 100% sure if that's going to happen or not, but I figured if anything, if it does, we maybe go make some videos on that and talk about that. I do hope it happens. I'm not sure if I'm going to get one myself or not, but at least be on the lookout for that tomorrow. I'll probably remind you guys tomorrow morning for that. And as well, I just appreciate you guys all so much for watching, for hanging out, for chilling. Make sure you guys go subscribe for the PS5 giveaways. Leave your comments down below and all the game news we kind of had a chance to go and see. Amazon links down below as well. Twitter and Twitch stream if you guys like to go and follow. And of course, the Weeble. Sign up for Weeble. Deposit $100. You guys go get free stock and free money. Coinbase, you guys go buy $100 worth of any cryptocurrency. You guys go and get free Bitcoin. Love you guys all so much. I'll see you guys up in the next video as well. Hope you guys all enjoyed.